Okay, so I need to record like an intro for YouTube so they know what's going on and why am I black and white and why am I already so sad. It's because I have seen the patch notes before, I don't really look, so what you're going to see here is probably the worst patch notes since update 35. It's not as bad as update 35, but it's just extremely stupid. Like, I don't think it will have that big of an impact, but we're going nowhere. It's going to be really bad. So yeah, let's begin. The new Feast of Shadows dungeon pack contains 2 brand new dungeons. So yeah, the 2 dungeons which I already covered in one video, we saw Finn going through them. We're going to test them on PTS after this, after I read the patch notes. Or I'm not sure if I want to do that today. Okay. Low stream, I'm not reading the chat anymore. Because I won't be reading the chat that much, I'm doing the YouTube VOD. In addition to the new dungeons, the new event, Battle for the Riving Wall, will be available for testing during the PTS period. Taking down the Riving Wall is a large effort and every action counts. While there are 3 total phases for the event, the first 2 phases will be available for completion during the PTS cycle. So yeah, there's the Riving Wall event they were talking about. Let's get straight to the combat changes. I wanna look through the dungeon stuff. Yeah, there's the Infinite Archive Vision reroll. Let's actually read how exactly it's going to work. You now have the opportunity to use Archival Fortunes to reroll your possible vision selections when presented. Cost escalates each time the reroll option is used per vision choice, resetting when a new vision selection opportunity is presented. Okay, well, we already knew that. Swimming mounts, compass improvements, which they didn't mention, dodge roll visualization update, replay quest, and another round of Cerodal Vengeance testing with Mage's Guild and Fighters Guild added. Zoom. I should move myself here, actually. Where is the combat changes? There. Greetings. It has officially been an entire update with subclassing in the wild, and we've been closely monitoring all the fun and wacky antics that unfold in its wake. That's so tone deaf. That's so tone deaf considering what you're going to see down there. We know there's a lot of discussion over its impact in the game and how it could potentially change a lot of things moving forward, namely game balance, but we're going to continue to watch as data comes in and solidify this brave new world. This patch will be relatively light. No, it isn't. With balance adjustments on classes, since we're still discussing a lot of potential ways to move forward, and waiting to see how behavior, sentiment, and engagement change. Sure is going to change. This period is critical to ensure adjustments in the new subclassing era are done right, for a positive play experience. That is so fucking tone deaf. Like, the toxic positivity pouring from this. Being light on class balance still means you're not light on class balance. What the fuck? We still have a few adjustments, largely aimed at correcting some of the less ideal behavior we're seeing with passive slot effects. Abilities like Grim Focus and Bound Armor are often being used poorly passively, granting more power than we're happy with for how simple they're being used. So we're going to do some gentle reworking of what they grant. In this update, neither of these abilities nor their morphs will grant unique, unnamed effects for slotting. Instead, they'll be granting major and minor effects to ensure they're still helpful, but not in the same way as before. Additionally, we're taking a stab at ultimate generation and how high it can get by converting many unique ultimate sources to the major and minor system. This will mainly be expressed in the form of class passes like Mountain's Blessing or Savage Beast, where these passes will still grant the same amount of ultimate as before, but over a duration and unable to stack with other sources of the effect. There is no chat on the stream, but I think it's fine. Outside of this, you can expect 2 other main initiatives in this patch: regular bug fixing and a balance pass on some of our item sets. This update will be doing a pretty hefty number pass on our trial source sets, where we try and better reward stack-based sets for their more restrictive requirements, while also lessening the delta between those who can utilize them perfectly and those who struggle to get a good millage from them. The 2 main ways we'll be achieving this is by building some amount of power into a passive effect. The other will be through lowering how many stacks you need to reach for them to be worthwhile. By the way, this is a complete bullshit, and they're going to these stack-based sets, this is going to make them completely useless. They're going to be worse than Ansul. Most of these cases result in buffs for reaching their upper limits. That's a lie. While also making them more consistently viable by allowing you to reach those limits. Outside of these initiatives, we'll continue to lurk and watch over the discussion experience you get into. That's also a lie, they never listen to feedback. While we formulate on how to best deliver on improving the gameplay experience Tamil has to offer. Happy reading, safe travels, and we hope to see you in Tamil. Yet another way to write: lower the ceiling, raise the floor, and they always failed. And the best part, the floor doesn't give a fuck. The floor people do not give a fuck about balance changes. So they're only going to anger the ceiling. Okay, updated the visual effects for dodge roll to better convey the ramping stamina cost of rolling multiple times in quick succession. Many fear sources have been updated to no longer place two effects on you while under their influence, a fear effect and an immobilization to prevent you from moving around. Fear will now handle both occurrences in one, resulting in a case where some interaction with passives and sets will change. Block no longer fails if the required resource was gained while actively bracing. Yeah, I hated that. Block no longer fails when using channel or custom abilities while bar swapping and re-inputting the command. That was pretty annoying with trample. Fix an issue where some effects in your buff tray and character sheet could appear as if they had multiple stack counts, even when they didn't. This occurred mainly when an effect with a stack count ended. Their stacks would not properly flash and instead appear on the UI of the next effect in line. Fix an issue where some abilities could set your health to full when activated in very specific and rare cases. Those who know. And that ability was Simmering Frenzy. When you disabled Simmering Frenzy, you would gain like a integer overflow of HP and basically heal to full every time. Even with the morph that isn't supposed to heal you. Fix an issue where some transformation ultimates could surprise you upon completion, interrupting your abilities while causing them to go on cooldown. Didn't know that. Interacting with certain doors no longer prevents your character from being able to use single-target abilities. Oh, the VMO bug, yeah. So that was it. That's what happened to me. Fix an issue where temporary summon abilities could be cast and drain resources, even when their summon would fail to spawn due to being at the pet limit. This affects the following abilities: Summon Shade and Morphs, Sacrificial Bones and Morphs, Skeletal Mage and Morphs, Spirit Manor and Morphs. When the game is in a good state, they make crazy changes though. Yeah. Don't spoil Splash, I'm going over stuff one by one. But yeah. Yeah, but it's pretty stupid change with the Balnegis. I mean, I know it's not spoiling, but just I want to go over stuff one by one. I don't want to jump to the next thing. Oh, now we're getting to the probably some of the worst stuff that's happening. The following passives granting unique forms of ultimate when meeting their conditions have been converted to grant major and minor heroism to prevent them from stacking with one another. The total amount of ultimate granted will be identical, but will not stack with additional sources and will take more time to generate. Monta's Blessing now grants minor heroism for 4.5 seconds with a 6-second cooldown, rather than 3 ultimate with a 6-second cooldown. Transfer now grants minor heroism for 3 seconds with a 4-second cooldown. Yeah, basically, all of these are being changed to minor and major heroism. Catalyst is major for 15 seconds, instead of, getting 30 ultimate on potion use. This also means that the ultimate will now only generate in combat. Yes, they're all minor heroism with the exception of Catalyst being major. So basically, it's so fucking horrible. It's so stupid. It absolutely kills the fun of keeping track of these like passives. Completely like takes away rewarding like actually being good at the game. And it's also funny because I saw these like in the early look, and I looked at my Discord in the tank channel, and there was a guy saying how much he enjoys pumping out Colossuses every 20 seconds by tracking his he had like 3 ultigen skill lines, and it was funny. They're basically killing this guy's entire playstyle. It's actually sad. But yeah, this is tone deaf and stupid because there are so many sources of major minor heroism. So these are basically dead passives because if you're a DPS, basically everyone uses minor heroism potions almost all the time. And as for Catalyst, take a look at this. That's the Siphon skill line, yeah. Major heroism. Every support can just use trample. This is complete dead passive, and it's going to make Siphoning so much worse. It's going to be just a defensive skill line now, because you'll be using it just for siphoning attacks, because Catalyst will be dead passive. Kadikada, thanks for follow. And if you're this isn't the same. You're gonna use Heroism Pots on a tank. This is a dead passive, completely dead passive. Transfer. Also mostly, yeah, it's just dead passive because it's on a support. You'll be using Heroism Pots. Savage Beast, you'll most likely be using Heroism Pots on a DPS. Corpse Consumption, Wait, that's minor. That's not even major. Oh my god. Save you skill points? That's so stupid. They just turn these passes into... Like, if they wanna, like, rein in the ulti generation, then, I don't know, change these passes to something completely different. Because right now, we're just having dead passives. These passives are doing absolutely nothing for us. Like, absolutely nothing. We already had these buffs. We already had these heroism buffs. Not to mention, like, all the fucking Arcanist users always having minor heroism anyway. This is so stupid. Oh, let's see the dev comment. Over time, Ultimate has become more and more accessible to players, greatly increasing the frequency in which these combat altering abilities can be activated. This has allowed for strategies that hyper-focus on the generation of this resource to amass and creep up over time, creating cases where some ultimates can be activated incredibly quickly. We're going through many sources of ultimate and converting effects over to the major and minor system. But they still offer powerful bonus. No, they don't. But with a much more controlled ceiling. We've started with class passives in effort to make it harder to stack their effects with subclassing in mind, while also trying to mitigate the need to gain this effect from things like scrap abilities or consumables. I hate this homogenization. Like, they just kill these passes. Like, we already had major and minor heroism in most of the builds. But will they revert perils? Of course not. They basically detected fun and decided to kill it. I don't know what else to tell you. Tracking ultimate passives was actually so fun. Especially with stuff like corpse consumption, because it has a longer passive. But now it's just... And you don't even get a full uptime. Like, if you were thinking, oh, so now I don't need to use Heralding Pots on a Dicky tank, yeah? Because I have Mountain's Blessing. No, you get what? 4.5 seconds with a 6-second cooldown. You still need to use Heralding Pots. So nothing changed. Trying to find a positive, we use Siphoning line for Catalyst, so now we might use different ones. I mean, that just means they kill the line. So you just use something else. They hate unique, nothing new. And they'll be doing a lot more of that. They'll be changing lots of unique stuff into this dogshit major minor system. Okay, another banger. Replenishing Barrier. This morph no longer grants 4 ultimate when the shield ends. Increase the magicka restored when the shield ends to 1.5k up from 1k. So basically, dead morph. Dead morph. Let's use the other one now. Why is the game looking like Vengeance campaign reversed? Vengeance is gaining things, the base game is losing things. I don't know. Wait, you can't even have 100% heroes uptimes while keeping 100% stagger uptimes? Yeah, you can't. That's why I'm saying these passives are dead. You'll have to use the potions anyway. Now, why are they trolling? I don't know. Evil Hunter, the damage bonus granted from this morph will now applies to the damaging effects of Torchbearer. Shooting Star, this morph now ranks down to a cost of 185. The ultimate generation now grants 10 ultimate per enemy hit, up to a maximum of 6 times, rather than 9 to 12 based on rank. So basically, if you've had fun with spamming Shooting Star on like following the Cauldron last boss, forget that. We can't have any fun. Everything has to be limited. Those patch notes get even better the more I dig into them. Wow. Okay, let's see the comment. Shooting Star should be a bit rarer to use than it currently is. So we're putting a hard cap on this effect of the standard 6 enemies rather than 100. Realistically, there are very few cases where more than 6 enemies grouped up within 5 meters of one another. So this shouldn't hurt its effectiveness in general play experiences. See, that's the thing. You're doing nothing for the general play, and you're just nerfing a specific, like, situational use case. And they'll be doing that a lot. They'll be, like, completely killing situational sets for no reason. Like, if you know this ultimate was situational, isn't that how it should be? There should be, like, good general options, and, like, situational skills that are better for, like, specific situations. And now, it's just gone. This is mainly to make Master Mob Shepherding a little less powerful. What does that even mean? Flame School. Resolve the issue where corpses generated from this ability and its morphs could not be replaced, causing you to quickly reach the summon limit. That's what I've been molding about when soloing Unhallowed Grave last time on the Necro, like the Death Knight build. I was getting completely cacked by this skill, and I didn't know what was going on, and it was this. Are these patterns or an obituary? Yeah. Oh, Grim Focus. This ability and Smorphs now grant Major Prophecy and Savagery, Popes and Christians, for slotting on either bar. These abilities no longer grant increasing weapon and spell damage per stack. Additionally, these abilities now play their special sound effects when reaching their activation conditions. They are having too much fun. Take the toys away, lol. It's basically fun detected. Relentless Focus. This morph now ranks up in cost reduction, since there is no weapon and spell damage granted per stacks no any longer. Instead, this morph reduces the number of stacks needed to activate this ability to 4, down from 5. So yeah, Grim Focus has been so bad now. Shadow Cloak. This ability and the Shadow Disguise morph now grant minor protection for selecting on either bar, rather than Major Prophecy and Savagery. What the fuck? Dark Cloak. The bonus healing condition for this morph now requires you to be actively bracing, holding block, rather than not be moving. The healing duration from this ability is no longer influenced by the Dark Veil passive. So it's fucking shorter. It's way shorter. Oh my god. So yeah, this is what I told you about. They killed Shadow. Like, wait, I had this image somewhere here. Hogarth, thanks for follow. Look at this. Shadow skin line? Let's fucking nerf it. There's still 86 people using it. The worst self-heal in the game. The actual worst self-heal in the game gets nerfed. Lower duration and different condition. Like, I wouldn't say it's a worse condition. It's a different condition. Glad Shadow's getting nerfed. Some people played it. Yeah, look at that. Look, some people. Fuck, the camera's cutting it up. Look at this. Some people still played Shadow. There's still 86 people playing Shadow. You gotta stop that. You have to permablock for the full heal. Yeah, and then you just want to sustain. Like, over for the skill line. Bound Armor. This ability and the Bound Egg is morph now passive grant Major Resolve. Because it's such a... Oh, we're still gonna either bar. Rather than granting minor protection. 5% reduced damage taken. And increasing your max magicka by 5 to 8%. 181 people playing Animal Companion. Please nerf that shit. Bound Armaments. This morph now grants Major Sorcery and Prophecy. For slotting. Rather than 8% max stamina. Talking about Shadow, can I introduce you to sponsor of the stream, Raid Shadow? So yeah, they really hate these like passive abilities, and they're giving them like really common buffs. Like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna slot Kama Hunter anyway. Dark Exchange, Dark Deal. This morph no longer has Minor Force. This morph's Minor Berserk is no longer half as long as the base ability. So yeah, they make the Minor Berserk longer, and the Minor Force is gone. Because Minor Force is coming to Lightning form. This ability and morph now grants Minor Force while active, rather than Major Resolve. Because they gave Major Resolve to the Bound Armaments. This is really stupid. Who even uses Derrick Summoning? Only Heavy players. Exactly. Restoration stuff. Fix an issue where this ability and the Blessing of Restoration morphs. Healing and buff application was twice as long as intended. 800 millisecond delay instead of 400. Yeah, I noticed that. It was really weird to use when I was healing on second boss in Ossian Cage. Gonna have to resource Major Resolve for solo builds now. Yeah, that's going to be really bad for solo builds. This change is extremely fucking bad for solo builds. It's horrible. Not having Major Resolve on Hurricane. I don't know where we're going to get it instead. I think it will just have to be Wield So. All of this sounds horrible for their casual players, though. They will be dropping dead left and right. Yeah. They hate fun. They aren't just targeting us. They're targeting fucking everyone who has fun. Berserker Rage. This morphs crowd control immunity now works as intended. Major heroism. Reduce the intensity and volume of the sound effects from this effect. Okay. Do you know why I started laughing like a joker when I looked at Inspire Scholarship when I was playing before the patch notes? Look at this. Banner Bearer. Adjusted the combination effect on class mastery script as an Arcanist with this Grimoire. This effect will now only generate crux if you have no crux active. So this is basically the exact same as if you had Inspire Scholarship. Except Scholarship is such a good skill that you're never going to drop it on an Arcanist. So Arcanist class mastery is dead. Completely dead. Like, I think it deserved a nerf, but in a typical Zos fashion, they just killed it. They didn't nerf, they just killed it. What are the chances of all the changes sticking and going live? Pretty high, because ESO devs have massive ego and they rarely listen to feedback. Honestly, telling them to change something probably will ensure that it doesn't get changed. Minor resolve banner. We're toning down how passive crux generation has become since this combination was introduced. Crux was designed to play a central role in the Arcanist rotation, and most of its sources are built on taking actions, with an active cost of reacting to events outside of one's control. Passive forms of crux tend to have a limitation on their activation. Crux Weaver requires taking damage with a mild cooldown, and Tombear's Inspiration requires you to have no crux active. Both limitations are done to ensure you cannot purely passively generate crux, or that it takes an extended period of time to do so. Banner Bearer has disrupted this significantly, causing a sharp increase in performance for the Arcanist above any other class, despite it also generating a plethora of other impactful events. With this reduction, we'll continue to look at creating a compromise effect, if you do have a crux active. So this combination doesn't feel like a complete loss in power. Okay, so basically, this deserves a nerf. The crux banner definitely deserves a nerf. But this is just too much. Or like, honestly, out of two evils, like if we could have either like the current crux banner or this dead banner, I'm honestly I would take the dead banner. Honestly, it's been so powerful for so long. Just fucking kill it. If they can't balance it, then just kill it. Fine. Other impactful events like Pokemon or Heroism Kick. Like, in the ideal world, they would do something to make banner still good. Like Arcanist banner still good, but not OP. But if they can't, if they don't know how to do it, sure, just kill it. And now the items. There will be a lot of really stupid changes and a few good ones. So let's get to it. We've updated many stack-based item sets to grant a portion of their bonuses upfront with no condition requirements, or grant more bonus per stack, while reducing their maximum stacks. This is an effort to ensure they offer more consistent power bonuses. This is a lie, by the way. This just means that the situational sets are going to be completely useless. This also means some have seen an overall reduction in power in efforts to reduce their ability to outshine other sets in gameplay. This is a case-by-case point, however, where many sets have also been generally buffed. Basically, they're trying to nerf situational sets that require skill to use, like require knowledge. Like they have like a knowledge check. Okay, Highland. This set now passively grants up to 986 critical rating when wearing 5 or more pieces. This set now increases your critical rating by 443 per stack, with 3 stacks max, rather than 357 per stack, with 10 stacks max. Maximum critical reduced to 2315, down from 3570. Moving reduces your stack count by 1, rather than half of your current stacks. So basically, it's just pointless. Like, it used to be, Highland Sentinel used to be, sure, it was being cheese on dummy, but also it was a good situational set for some fights. Like, for example, in Kind's Aegis, on Yandir, Vrol, and also on Fagraven, to be fair. You could utilize it pretty well. And now, it's just dead. Why would you ever, with this crit, it's just never going to be better than, I don't know, fucking Ansel. Like, it used to be a situational set, which wasn't best everywhere, but had some use. Now it's just, there's no There is no nuance. There is no like using a general use set here and situational set here. You just do the general set everywhere. This is a don't use Highland anywhere. Phoenix Moth Torch. The minor force granted from this effect from the set no longer breaks when paired with other sorts of minor force. I didn't know that. Rush of Agony. This set no longer pulls enemies to the caster after its delay, but instead creates an area of effect at the initial location, pulling enemies to it. The warding visual effect of the set activating have been greatly increased in order to help improve counterplay. That's mostly for PvP. We're making a change to the set to correct some exploitative behaviors in high load situations or when paired with specific abilities that allow the caster to move quickly from place to place. The pull will retain the same timing as before, but now leaves a notable area of effect with a telegraph, warding enemies of the incoming pull in efforts to hide counterplay. To me, it's just crazy how they make all the nerfs because someone who just started can't compete with someone who's been playing for 10 years. Like, come on, man, seriously, lol, there will always be bad players. They really hate skill expression. The devs have like a really... They really hate skill expression. That's pretty obvious from like all the patterns I've seen. They're hellbent on increasing the floor and lowering the ceiling. Okay, Baylog. This set now requires you to be in combat to activate its effect. So basically, to nerf basically a few people abusing this set for pre-buff, they're going to make this set horrible to use for everyone. This is so counterintuitive. Imagine, like, this is so intuitive that you start with your ultimate, yeah? Like, you see a boss, and before you're even in combat, you just drop your ultimate. That's the thing you start with. And now you're going to get punished for it, because you won't activate Baylog with that. You're going to have to, like, start the fight with some random skill, and then use your strongest ability. This is so counterintuitive. Ever since Brand Viewers tried BGs. No, way before that. Netch Oil. Fix an issue where this set snare and immobilization immunity reactivated for a short period when crowd control immunity ended. Seems like PvP nerf. The Baylog? I mean, it makes even less sense in PvP. Like, okay, Arms of Relic 1. Fix an issue where the cooldown for the set was shorter than its listed cooldown. Reduce the damage the set deals by 2%. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, the only reason Relic 1... Oh my god, my stupid fucking chair. The only reason Relic 1 was good was because you could double proc it. That's the only reason Relic 1 was even competitive. So now, with the fixed cooldown and unable to double proc it, it's completely dead. Completely dead. If this is how I understand it, as in they increase the cooldown, so now you can't double proc it by weaving a bit slower. It's just that. Because right now, the Reliquant dot would tick, and then you do Lie attack, and it ticks again. And it does it every second. It ticks, Lie attack, double tick. Tick, Lie attack, double tick. If I understand the fix correctly, it's going to only tick once. So it's like completely dead. It basically halves your damage from Reliquant. Bastard Mania. This set now grants up to 10% damage done against monsters and reaches its cap at 50% magicka, rather than up to 12%, and reaching cap at 0%. So basically, again, they hate skill expression. So instead of rewarding players who can manage their resources, they just homogenize. They just dump it down so everyone's at the same level, and you reach the cap at 50%. For real, nerf all the high CPM Reliant. So yeah, honestly, they could have kept 12%, and it would have still been like balanced. Like Basse, honestly, it's probably in a bit better state. It's in a better state than it is. It's like a buff for Basse in general, but they honestly could have kept 12%. And I feel like 50% is too much. They should have made it like 33%. That's where they should put the cap. Berserking Warrior. This set now passive grants up to 986 critical rating when winning 5 or more pieces. This set now grants up to 298 critical rating per stack with 5 stacks maximum, rather than 241 critical rating with 10 stacks maximum. Maximum critical rating is now 2476. up from 2,410. The 3-piece of the set now grants crit rating for their weapon damage. So yeah, this is a buff. Pretty good change. Okay, Coral Riptide. This set now grants 525 weapon and spell damage and reaches its cap at 50% stamina, rather than 740, and reaching its cap at 33% stamina. Okay, so basically, for people who don't know, Coral Riptide versus Ansul has been a pretty long debate, and basically, Coral is better if you can keep your stamina at roughly below 60%. If you're keeping your stamina above 60%, then Ansul is better. So the way it is now with the nerfed weapon damage, you never want to use Coral. It is never better than Ansul. It's literally never better. Like, the general use set is never better than the situational set. And by the way, Coral Riptide has been dead this patch anyway, because nobody can sustain it. Like, Coral Riptide has been a thing the previous patch, but now with the increased beam cost, it wasn't used anymore, and now it's just another nail in the coffin. But yeah, they don't know the math of their own game, because right now with this value, you never want to use this over Ansu. Ansu is the general use set. You know, the general use practical set is always better than the situational set that requires some gimmick. Time to nerf Ansu. Honestly, that's probably what they're going to get from it. Destructive Mage. This set no longer causes the enemy mark to be susceptible to any heavy attack damage, so it can no longer trigger ally attacks. This also means multiple wearers can apply the set to the same target. Increase the damage of the explosion by 13%. Decrease the cooldown of applying the mark to 3 seconds, down from 4. Probably doesn't change, it's probably still a bad set. Dolorous Arena. Oh yeah, the tank set. Updated the set tooltip to be more concise about how it applies, including its 2-second delay before stacks apply to target, which was previously missing from the tooltip. Increase the duration of the stacks to 5 seconds per stack, up from 2 seconds, to ensure there's a grace period between application. That's not enough to make it like not talk shit. Typo. Caspian's Cruel Signet. Increase the damage per sword by 32%. The damage bonus granted when a sword is applied is no longer removed when a sword ends, allowing for the bonus to persist when fighting more than one target at a time. That's something I'll have to test in game to tell you if it's good. Harmony in Chaos. This set now grants up to 200 weapon and spell damage when wearing 5 or more pieces. Reduce the weapon and spell damage granted per stack to 88, down from 135. Increase the duration of the stacks. They nerfed the dogshit set. Like, why are they nerfing the dogshit set? Are you playing your own game? Nobody uses that shit. Why are they nerfing this awful set? This is so random. This is the most random change. This is the set from the new trial, and it's absolutely awful. This shit is crazy. Mantle of Sororia. This set now passively grants 200 weapon and spell damage when wearing 5 or more pieces. Reduce the weapon and spell damage granted per stack to 44, down from 63. So that's so look, what they're describing here, yeah? What they're describing here, yeah? Like they're how they want to like make sets like better at baseline, but still the same at the maximum when you're utilizing them properly. They actually did correctly for Sororia, because you get someone did the math before, I don't remember correctly, but I think it's like similar amount of weapon damage at full stacks. So full stacks is unchanged, but 0 stacks is buffed. That's how they should do it. Meanwhile, Highland is just, you know, dead on full stacks, because it's like always worse than general sets. General use sets. Least out of touch sauce patch. Oh hey Porky. Recovery Convergence. This set no longer prevents you from generating overhealing charges after activating the synergy. It was useless set anyway. Doesn't change anything. Roaring Opportunist. This set's 2-piece bonus is now 129 weapon and spell damage rather than pen. That's pretty good, because it's a healer set. It helps with scaling the set, I think, if I remember correctly. Twice Fanged Serpent. This set now passive grants 2300 offensive penetration when wearing 5 pieces or more. This set now grants 660 offensive penetration per stack, up to 5 stacks max, rather than 544 per stack, up to 10 stacks max. This set's 3-piece bonus is now offensive penetration, rather than max stamina. Yeah, so that's a good change. War of Depths. Increase the damage of the set by 3%. The stupid fucking sheet changes. The stupid spreadsheets. Okay, Yander's Might. This set now grants 129 weapon and spell damage for its perfected bonus, rather than pen. This set now grants 86 weapon and spell damage per stack, up to 5 stacks max, rather than 41, up to 10 stacks max. Maximum is now higher. Jordan, text of FLO. Fully charged heavy attacks consume all stacks to grant 136 weapon and spell damage per stack, up from 63. Maximum is 680. So yeah, that's a decent buff. And there's the new sets, which I already talked about in the patch preview video. This is actually unchanged. I'm surprised. This is unchanged. So there's actually a pretty high value on this monster set. This is unchanged. I think the medium set had a placeholder value. Oh, now we just don't see any value at all. Okay, I see. Oh wait, we didn't see those. Wait, Coup de Grace. Oh, I didn't see it in this early view. That's a new thing for me. When you damage an immobilized enemy, apply major vulnerability to them for 3 seconds. 1 second cooldown. Okay. Probably nice. Spell Shredder. Increase your damage down by 2% for each damage shield and heal over time effect on your target. That might be decent. Gain 1 second of immunity after casting an ultimate. I don't know. Fixes for like some random quests. Oh yeah, Caspian was giving double loot. I didn't know if it was intended, but yeah, Caspian was giving double loot, and this is getting fixed. Vengeance does 3. There's gonna be Meatbugs, Mage's Guild, and Fighter's Guild skills, and a new armor skill line, which includes all 3 active abilities. Oh yeah, because it has no passives. Did they fix the fucking trial no loot though? Or is it just a nerf train? I don't think they fixed it. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna need to eat something and then probably we'll hop on PTS. Do we wanna hop on PTS? I guess I wanna solve the new dungeons.